Well, what do you think the odds are on that? I mean, that he stays retired.
That Brady stays retired?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't even see the Buccaneers on like the first page of any of these futures odds for next year's Super Bowl. So, I mean, there's always, I guess, a chance that, come the middle of summer, he gets a little sick of looking at Giselle every 24 hours a day and says, hey, the Buccaneers still need me. They didn't get Jimmy Garoppolo like everybody might have thought, during the draft weekend. And I can just waltz my way in there and come back and immediately take them into, maybe a 1,500 plus 1,500 at least to get back to a Super Bowl.
All right, so we're going to look at that in a second there. You mentioned the futures there for Parks that they have up for next year's Super Bowl, and you have to scroll down by all means to get to the Bucks. But
a little bit.
There's a drug. It's not illegal. It's not even carbs that Tom Brady may be addicted to. He mentioned this on his podcast with Jim Gray.
You said last week your golf game was terrible. Somebody wrote in, one of the haters said that actually a very funny line, that you've been retired for a week, but you've already thrown your putter for more yards than all 22 years you were in the NFL.
That sums it up. I felt like I retired from football. I should retire from golf with how shitty my golf game is.
Yeah, I don't know. I get it. I think he's got a membership at Seminole. I mean, I wouldn't need to go back to work if I had that. My God.
That is very fair.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, so odds are a little stronger once you look at where he has a membership to, and he can play each and every day. And a reminder to your point about getting sick of staring at Giselle at some point. Much easier to go to the golf course than it is back getting hit and put on your back.
Exactly right. I mean, he could go to Medalist and play with Tiger any day he wants to, too. I'll go stare at Tigers, hitting wedges.
Right. But you didn't even see the Bucks, right? I mean, we look here.
Yeah, where are they?
Parks. We don't even see the Bucks right now. You have to scroll down. So maybe that's the best indicator. But the Bills right there at the top, plus 750. Chiefs are in there. Rams are in there as well. You know what jumps out at me first and foremost, outside, of course, of the obvious, which is Tom Brady is retired. And maybe if you wanted to have some sort of a long shot, you could jump in. I mean, plus 2,800. That is essentially risking that Brady returns to that team. But you know what jumps out at me, Harry?
What's that?
The books have a team that lost plus 1,600, which is decent, but this is not 800. This is, Joe Burrow will be right back.
Right.
This is a big risk here that the Bengals are going to come right back to that Super Bowl.
It is. Now, you would assume that they go and bolster that offensive line in the draft and through free agency this year. And, to me, I mean, that's pretty good value, I think, to just throw something on what looks to be a quarterback that is, he's just got that. He's got that it factor, and he's got one of the best wide receivers. I think this Jamar Chase, the catch he made in the Super Bowl. I mean, that's just a sample. He does that 10 times in practice every day. He's that good. And I think they just keep building there, for these next 2 or 3 years. They have a window where I think they can get back. But there's no way that the Rams are going back next year.
You think that's it? Aaron Donald's out.
I think there's going to be serious personnel changes in that, and they went all in this year. They don't have a first round pick until I turn like 65. I mean,
which is not next year. I don't want to hear any shots out there on Harry.
It's not. I'm not that old. But the Niners are an interesting number too, because you're going to think that's Trey Lance's Niners now, right?
Yeah, you would think. And look, I know Garoppolo at the end got a lot of flack for how things ended for them, but if Trey Lance is at the very least as competent as Garoppolo is, shouldn't you be right back in there? I mean, that defense is as threatening and menacing as any in the league. They have talent at all positions. Deebo Samuel is a switchblade. They still have Kittle, who at times was blocking more than receiving, frustrating as it may be. I'm with you. I think this is an interesting play here. Now, again, it's at plus 1,200, so for them to move up, they're going to have a pretty good year. But to your point, that should be expected.
Yeah.
You want to sneak in here?
Chargers 2,000. There's a question mark for every one of these teams. You could go right through them. I mean, the Broncos. Do the Broncos end up with Aaron Rodgers? I mean, imagine putting in plus 2,200 and in 6 weeks they got Aaron Rodgers on the team.
Good point. You are. Well, what about this team?
Yes, the
How
Colts.
appealing, right? Right. Here's my question to you. If you're Aaron Rodgers, and let's clear this out. So if you're watching and you're paying attention here on the Daily Dime, you can see the two teams we're talking about, plus 2,200 on Parks for the Broncos, plus 2,800 on the Colts here. If you are Aaron Rodgers and you have the choice of which team you're going to go to, I get that Denver has some good talent, as does Indy, but I don't think it's a slam dunk that you're going to the Broncos. I think the Colts right now are, as are the Saints, right? You have a couple of teams that are ready-made to compete, even San Fran, but they have their guy. I love the idea of Rodgers if he does going to the Colts or even the Saints if he has his choice, right?
Yeah, because it's sounding more and more like the Colts have already had enough with Carson Wentz after 1 year. So
they've had it. He's seen it enough.
I've seen it enough.
How much more can you watch this guy completely run your team into the ground each week?
Oh, and Arizona, what's the deal with Kyler Murray and that
it.
team?
I
can't
cannot
either.
trust Kyler Murray. All right, is there a long shot here? Now, look, Cleveland is in an absolute utter disarray. I tell you, look, I don't know if it's Jameis Winston. I don't know what they're going to do at the quarterback spot, but if they have stability, here's what I would say. If the Saints have any stability at the quarterback spot this year, this upcoming season, you know and I know and everybody else out there knows they are far better than a plus 4,000 shot to win it all.
No doubt about it. Plus, I mean, what if they get Russell Wilson?
Ooh, again, same scenario you laid out earlier with Denver and Rodgers. Now, all of a sudden, this what goes to plus 2,000?
Yeah, 1,800, 2,000, something like that, right?
Oh, my goodness. You talk about closing line value before the season starts. No long shot here, right? You're not going to – Deshaun Watson doesn't come back and save the universe?
No, I don't. I don't think so. The Giants, no, I don't believe in Daniel Jones. I mean, the Washington Commanders, what if they get a quarterback?
I like the Washington Commanders to make the playoffs. That's not up yet. That won't be up
it's not?
yet.
Okay.
No, because, you need the schedule, the draft, all these things to happen.
Right.
But I'll meet you halfway. Once that ends and we get to make the playoffs or not, I am going to bet or guess at least now that you're going to get the Commanders at plus money since they're so far down here. You're right. They get a quarterback. I could see them making the playoffs at the expense of the Eagles or Cowboys, what have you. But I could see Washington all of a sudden surprise and make the playoffs there as well.
So you're not buying into that Russell Wilson signing the Eagles hat at the Pro Bowl festivities or whatever a couple weeks ago, right?
No, the Eagles are leverage. That's all they are. They're just cheap leverage here by any means. It's
a team with 3 first-round picks leverage? Nah.
Well, yeah. Somebody's going to get paid, and I don't know if it's going to be anybody here on the Eagles. That's all I'm saying here. All right, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll look at this week in the PGA. We'll look at a couple of NBA plays as well. That's Harry Mayes and Eytan Shander. It's the Daily Dime.